Our lives depend on cells. Our bodies are filled with them, roughly 37 trillion. So there are many different types of cells in our bodies, like the nerve cells, bone cells, or blood cells. But the broadest classification is eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Every cell can be put into one of these two categories. Bacteria and archaea are prokaryotes, while animals, plants, fungi, and every other organism are eukaryotes. To be eukaryotic like us, it means that our cells contain membrane-bound organelles such as a mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi complex, and of course the nucleus. On the other hand, prokaryotes don't have any of these features. In fact, they are just single cells or unicellular. Some eukaryotic organisms can be unicellular too, like amoebas or paramecium, but they still contain membrane-bound organelles, which differentiates them from the prokaryotes. Generally, prokaryotic cells are much smaller than the eukaryotic ones. Nonetheless, if the genetic material or DNA is enclosed by a nuclear envelope, that means that there is a nucleus and therefore eukaryotic. However, with prokaryotes, because there isn't a definite nucleus, the DNA is in the jelly-like cytoplasm. This is still sort of a nucleus, but with no nuclear membrane, so we call it a nucleoid. It's not a structure, but it's where the DNA is kept. But most eukaryotes reproduce sexually. The offspring produced contain genetic material which comes from a mixture of the parents' genes. In contrast, prokaryotes always reproduce asexually, which means the offspring has the exact same genes of the parents, achieved through binary fission. Although these two types of cells are very different in structure, they still have a few of the same features. They both contain cell membranes which enable certain materials to enter or exit the cell, and both types contain DNA. It's believed that prokaryotes were the only living organisms on Earth for millions of years, and eukaryotes emerged later through evolution. Now, to differentiate between viruses and prokaryotes. They have their differences and some similarities as well. Viruses are found within the living cells of a host. They are not made up of cells, they are not considered living, and therefore not classified into a kingdom. Some differences viruses have from bacteria are viruses have a protein coat, but no cell walls or ribosomes. Ribosomes are present in bacteria, and their rigid cell walls are made up of peptidoglycan. Secondly, viruses are smaller than bacteria. Unlike bacteria, viruses cannot survive without a host, as they reproduce by using the machinery of the cells. Antibiotics are used to kill bacteria, but they aren't effective against viruses, as viruses are not living. Viruses reproduce through invading a host cell and taking over it. The replication process is either a lytic or a lysogenic cycle, but as a similarity, just like the prokaryotes and eukaryotes, viruses contain DNA. These similarities and differences between prokaryotes, eukaryotes, and viruses make them unique to where they are found, how people are affected by them, and how they survive. Thank you for watching.